I'm Dan Langan and I can make anything out of cake. Every week, Food Network challenges me to a brand new cake baking challenge. This is Dan Can Bake It. Brand new cake box, fresh from Food Network, that has the clue in it for this week's episode. Oh, it looks like theater, like drama masks. Got some like music notes. It's, this is Trixie, or what's her name? From Hairspray. Trixie, sorry, wrong person. I don't think it fits on my head. I already did my hair today, but it probably looks good, right? So let's take a look at this clue here. Create a Broadway-inspired cake that actually lights up. I get it now, we got these wigs, these drama masks, the stars, Broadway. Broadway is iconic, and I know that people go to Broadway just to be in the spotlight. Whoa, guys, it's showtime. I'm gonna grab my sketchbook, head to Broadway, and get inspired for this cake. You guys see all these lights? So this has me really inspired. I actually lived in New York City for 4 years, never really spent a lot of time in Broadway or in Times Square just because it's absolutely crazy. But this Broadway challenge really has me thinking all of these lights and signs and these marquee signs and this color and all of this action, I really think is the perfect inspiration for this cake challenge, right? What I'm going to do is create an entire marquee sign that says Dan Can Bake It, cut out of white fondant. We have this whole cake with all of these molded isomalt bulbs and this amazing modeling chocolate topper with these pearl accents. Definitely another showstopper on my hands. So what I'm gonna do to make my cake light up is create some molded isomalt sugar bulbs. I have a silicone mold here, I have some food safe cake lights, and then in my oven I have some isomalt that I've cooked to about 330 degrees. The isomalt starts out clear. I just colored it with a little bit of yellow food coloring. And what I'm gonna do here is just really carefully pour this into my silicone mold here. I don't wanna fill these up too much. Isomalt's a really popular cake design ingredient. Isomalt is easier to work with than sugar. You just have to heat it up on the stove to about 330 degrees. So these little lights, they light up when you turn them, which is really cool. But I'm gonna keep them off for now. And what I'm gonna do is just stick the lights right in the center of the mold, and they stay lit for a long time. Whenever I want a cake to light up, like a cake like this, I'll use these little LED lights. All right, last one. I'm gonna let these hang out just at room temp for about 30 to 40 minutes until they firm up, but I made a whole tray of them, so I'll show you guys what they look like. So I've got a full tray of isomalt bulbs, and I also have a tray of rice. And I keep the rice out so that when I pop these bulbs out here, any moisture that's in the air that would make these get sticky, the rice would soak up that moisture. Really easy to just pop right out. Just like that. They pop out just like ice cubes or little molded candies, but I'll show you what they look like lit up. It's actually really sweet, if it works. See that? Actually frame my entire cake with these sugar bulbs. They're really cool. So I'm also cutting out some letters that say Dan Can Bake It for my cake that I can surround with these lights, so I'll officially have my name in lights. So I've got my cakes stacked up for the marquee sign, and the first thing that I have to do is panel the top of the cake with some black modeling chocolate, because that's gonna be the base that my letters are gonna sit on. I have some softened black modeling chocolate here, so I'll just give this a little knead until it's nice and smooth. Put some cornstarch down on my table, and I wanna try and keep that rectangle shape. I'm not going for a circle like I normally would when I roll something out. Sometimes when I'm covering a cake in modeling chocolate like this, I'll roll the modeling chocolate out and then pop it in the fridge so that I can put it on top of the cake and trim it really even so it looks really crisp, which I might have to do with this because it's actually really soft. So I'm just gonna give my cake a measure just to see how big of a piece I need. So I definitely have enough here, that's good. I have a half sheet board here. It's one of those non-stick boards that isn't gonna stick, so I can just slide the chocolate right onto the board, pop this whole thing in the fridge so it stiffens up. So to make sure that my modeling chocolate actually sticks to the top of my cake, I'm gonna grab my cake, grab a pastry brush, and I'll brush the top of the cake with some piping gel. Grab my modeling chocolate out of the fridge, and I should be able to slide it just right on top. See how easy it is once it's cold? I'll grab my fondant smoother, and I'm just gonna cut away this extra. I'll do it just a little bit at a time so I can kind of see what I'm working with. So I wanna make sure I cut a nice straight line with this black, so I'm actually gonna use my ruler. Even though I've only seen a couple of Broadway shows, I actually do like show tunes. Like, I think my favorite show tune is probably something from Hairspray. It just has like a great, really fun, upbeat feel. I also have some yellow strips that are also in the fridge. They're rolled out, I'm gonna use those and attach them to the sides of the cake. I'll grab some more piping gel, and I'll make sure that the side of the cake is nice and sticky. And I'll just pick up my yellow modeling chocolate and I'll press it into the side of the cake and I'll just cut straight down. I wanna make sure that this edge of modeling chocolate is sticky too so that the yellow is gonna stick to itself. Press that in place. Bring this final piece up. Final trim on the top yellow here. I'm gonna move this cake out of the way, roll out some more modeling chocolate, and add the decorations to the top. I wanna add some red details to the top of my cake. The red is gonna kinda be the frame that the lights stay on, so I'll roll out my red and cut nice straight panels. Just gonna center this up. Now that I have all of my red strips, and I'll use these as the frame for the top of my cake. So I'll just use some piping gel on the top of this just to make the frame strips stick. My quilting ruler, and I'll just use that just to make sure that the edge of this frame piece kind of lines up with the edge of the cake. Then what I want to do is take my knife and kind of cut from corner to corner and then lay those two pieces together. So I'm really happy with how this top frame looks. Next thing I want to do is add these Dan Can Bake It letters. Perfect, thank you. I've got Dan Can Bake It cut out of white fondant. Lay these out but not attach them. And if I actually really stick these letters on here and then I figure out I want to move them, it'll be tough to move them. So I'm liking how that looks. What I'm going to do is just take some shortening and I'll just flip each letter over one at a time. Put some shortening on the letter and then I'll just pop it back in place. It's done. Yes, Dan Can Bake It. It looks so cool, I love this. What I do wanna do though is steam it because I wanna kind of brighten up this black. I wanna steam this before I add my lights because the moisture from the steam could melt the isomalt a little bit. I think I'm out of steam officially. That'll have to be good. Awesome, so I have my lights here. I wanna use a ruler and a bubble tea straw to mark out where each of these lights is gonna go. I'll poke in with the straw, I'll take a light and just turn it on, and I'm just gonna push the whole thing straight into the cake. And then I'll measure equal distances all between. Got it. This has to be the brightest, most like illuminated cake that I've ever made. It just looks so cool even from this angle. The final thing I wanna do though is grab that topper and that is just gonna bring this whole thing together and set this whole cake off. So to take this cake to the next level, my team is going to create a top decor piece for the top of my marquee sign. So they took some sheet cakes, stacked them up, and frosted them with ganache to create an arch and keystone shape for the top of this sign. And then rolled out some black and yellow modeling chocolate to create a black arch and a yellow keystone piece for the top of this sign. Then they took a modeling tool to create a sunburst technique by etching some lines into the modeling chocolate and placing pearls over top of the lines to further enhance the look of these lights. All right, so I've got the topper right here. I'm gonna grab a little bit of buttercream and just put some buttercream right on the board so the whole thing sticks together. Pick this up. So I'll set that right down just like that. Wow, oh my gosh. I had this whole thing kind of planned out in my mind, but these lights and this topper with the beads and the pearls on top, Dan Can Bake It, it's like this whole vision board for my life. It's like I made a vision board out of a cake, which is something I'm super into, so I'm really happy with this one. Food Network challenged me to create a Broadway-inspired cake that actually lights up. So I created an entire marquee sign that says Dan Can Bake It, and I literally put my name in the lights. So I've got my Broadway-inspired cake here that actually lights up. My sheet cakes turned into a marquee sign with this awesome topper with the pearls and all of these isomalt molded light bulbs, and I'm ready to get a slice. So I'm gonna go here for a nice big slice out of the top corner. This cake was kind of all about me, so it was extra fun. Oh yeah. Got this really awesome confetti on the inside, the yellow, red, and the black that matches the whole cake. I think it's a really cool touch. I'll tell you, it doesn't get any better. It's so good. I'll tell you guys, it looks amazing on the outside, tastes just as amazing on the inside. I definitely have another showstopper on my hands. If you guys like this, make sure to tune in next week for more Dan Can Bake It. Hit that subscribe button if you guys want to see more cakes like this, and let me know in the comments below what you think my next challenge should be.